Welcome to Integrity Data. In this tutorial, we're going to go over adding employees or modifying employees that have been brought over from HR if need be. So from the dashboard, we're going to hover over employees and just go to employee details. To add a new employee, we're going to select add new company member. Now the first thing you're going to do is select from the default profile. We went over this in another video on how to create those. But the default profile is basically going to fill out these items for me so that I don't have to come down one by one and fill them out and have a chance on forgetting one of them. So we're going to select the default profile and I'll choose Midwest, Bobby's People. The reason I named it Bobby's People is because it's going to automatically assign Bobby as the main supervisor for me. You'll notice over here it's added their holiday plan, schedule, rounding, all these other profiles that are specific to the Midwest employees. That just leaves me with a couple of items here to do. It's going to be the first name, a middle initial if they have one, last name. We need at least the first and last name. The card ID is going to be their clock ID. So whatever they're going to use to clock in and out with, if it's a Prox badge, you will need to place that number in here for the employee, or just place their employee ID in here. You can always come back later and modify that if they lose their badge or you assign them a badge. But this is going to be what they're going to use to clock in with or be enrolled to a biometric clock with. Their other ID is going to be the payroll ID. This needs to be in here so that when payroll is exported, the hours match with the correct employee that payroll has for them. These items down here are optional: email address, home phone, cell phone, emergency phone. That's your call whether or not to place these in here. If you want the employee to get notifications and they're clocking in maybe via the e-time clock or mobile app and they're using PTO requests and things like that, the email address will allow them to receive notifications. You'll want to place a hire date in here. Benefit start, anniversary date, termination date. Maybe they're hired on the 15th, but their benefits won't start for 3 months. So we want to go in and place that in here if that's what we're using for our accruals. Most people won't put anything in these. You could also put some sort of anniversary date on here if you wanted to keep track of that. That's up to you. The main supervisor is already chosen, but if your default profile didn't include it, then this would be a good time to go ahead and select the employee's main supervisor if you are using supervisors in the system. Level hierarchy is not too often used. The ACA type, if you wanted to put that in here, that's fine, but this is typically used within the payroll system. HR note 1, 2, and 3 can be added if you like. These are just items that you would put in for your own reference as the administrator or any other administrators or any other individuals that had access to the employee details through this software. They don't appear anywhere else. They're just basically for you to come in if you need to. If you want the software to be able to send notifications to their cell phone, you need to enter their cell phone number and then choose their carrier. Make sure receive mail notifications is selected here. The shift differential you can use if it's set up and assign the shift differential to the employee. Auto-generate timesheets. This is typically only for salary, and before a schedule is assigned, this box has to be checked. Salary is just for your review in here. If you're clicking edit and viewing this, you'll know their salary. It really doesn't affect anywhere else in the application. just for your view. Same with Certify. But you need to select auto generate timesheets first. Then you can select a salary schedule or the one that emulates. Determine whether you want it to start in the current pay period or on the next pay period, and then click OK. If you do the salary or the schedule first and then auto generate timesheets, it will not generate their timesheets for the current pay period. The other area that you might do here is the PIN. If they're going to be using the mobile app, then they need to be assigned a PIN in conjunction with their card ID in order to be able to log into the mobile app. Depending on how you've set up the e-time clock, if you require them to also have a PIN in order to log into the e-time clock, you would need to add that in at this time as well. From here, we have the home levels. And my default profile automatically had these in it, so they're automatically inserted here. Normally you're going to see none if you did not select those in your default profile to come across. And at this time you would be able to select their division, their department, and anything else that is pertinent to this employee. You don't have to do all of them if they're not all required. Likely you may just have a couple in here for that. There's not going to be anything in the PTO bank yet because the employee is not saved, even though we have them on a plan. When you're complete with this, you would come down here and select Save, and the employee would be added in. If you need to modify something in an employee at any time, normally through your HR, your modifications for most things are done there, and they'll flow through to time. However, if you're not using HR or you didn't do something properly in HR, you can come over here and click Edit. Change the level if that needs to be done in here. If you're not using HR, this would be where you would go to do that. Update their PTO bank if you needed to for any reason, although if you've got PTO accruals running in the software for time, this should automatically be updated either yearly or whenever their pay period is closed. In the details, I don't know, maybe their last name changes, maybe you put them on a different schedule, put them on a different PTO plan, or anything like that that needs to be modified in here specific for the employee, you could. Please note the pay rate is only for hourly rates. You would not put a salary person's yearly rate inside of this. That would go down here. So the pay rate is what you pay the employee for their hourly wages. The bill rate might be in an instance where you loan this employee to someone else, and you would put the rate that you're charging that other entity for your employee's hours. So that allows you to be able to see what you're paying the employee for 40 hours of work and what you would be charging the other entity for those 40 hours when you're running your reports. You can opt to include their birthday here if you want. This won't come over automatically from HR, so this might be something that you would come in and add after the fact. Once you've completed your changes, you just click Save. And this ends the tutorial on adding employees into your advanced time and attendance. Thank you for watching.